One of the things that business owners forget a lot is to prepare for their own retirement.
Hi, my name's Nick Palavita, and today I'm with a very special guest, a certified financial planner, a chartered retirement plan specialist, and president of National Pension Partners, Max Couliet. Max, tell me what you do at National Pension Partners.
Well, Nick, we help successful small businesses and professionals put together retirement plans that provide them the maximum retirement benefits and big tax deductions at the same time.
Well, how do you do this?
Well, we get on an internet conferencing system with the client. We review their goals, what they want to accomplish, and then put together strategies to help them in implementing a retirement plan that benefits them, not everybody else.
Well, that sounds really good, but how much does this cost?
Well, it's really not bad because the first consultation is free. That allows us to go through and discover whether this strategy works for that business and for you as the business owner and helping you maximize your retirement.
Well, Max, how do we get this free appointment?
It's really pretty simple, Nick. You can either go to our website below or call us at 877-252-1692, and then we can set up a time with either myself, Nick, or one of our other retirement plan specialists, another CPA or advisor in the office to go over this with you and make sure it fits for you.
Hi, my name is Lewis Haupt. I work with National Pension Partners, and I work with businesses to allow them to put the maximum away that they can for themselves and to save taxes.
Hi, I'm Brad Coyle, and I'm the brokerage manager at National Pension Partners. We're always analyzing plan fund choices in order to ensure the participant's success.
If you want more information on how we can help you and your business put more money away in a retirement plan than you ever thought possible, contact us at the website below or call us at 877-252-1692.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the media show on the Pod TV network. I'm Nick Palavita. I will be your host for today's show. And the show we're going to discuss a lot of things that are going on in the media. And with that, we're going to bring in from Canada, Sasha Starr. Sasha was very interesting in that you switched the topic to tariffs from, but that's also a very important topic that, we're mainly, when we advertised that show, it was for Social Security, and I was beaming it to my financial planners because they put together a lot of financial plans for their clients, and the question is, okay, how do you plan for Social Security that may or may not be around? But then you also have to put into this factor, which you just described. I don't know how your computer programs will do this also. What are you going to do about tariffs that may increase the cost of goods sold? Depending on what area you're in, or even worse, hurt the overall economy because people aren't going to buy automobiles. They're not going to buy, manufactured goods because of the cost factor. So I think that tariffs are certainly an interesting part of the economic issues that the United States faces. And meantime, sitting over in Spain, one of the issues I face is the dollar. Now, the dollar just went up 1 penny versus the euro, and it makes me feel good now a little bit, but it's down overall. So, it is an issue if you travel because you're, and if you exchange a lot of your currency or you live here, and all of a sudden the dollars come in from the U.S. and they're converted into euros, and the euros, I'm clipped with 15% before I get my dollar. It's, in other words, I take a 15% bath on everything that takes place. So these are very striking issues that we have. Now, in the media industry, I'm not sure where the media is going. I did check out Newsmax. They actually adopted, along with Trump TV, they have TruthX, which they're beaming through all the places that we beam through. In other words, all the StreamYard places, plus Roku. And what we don't beam through yet, and I'm looking into it, is Android and Apple, which we could add this year, or we could add it next year, so that we have just basically more distribution points. That's all I'm looking at. So what are you looking at in Canada in terms of the media? What's your
Okay, first of all, I'm not saying that the tariffs is more important issue than Social Security. The only thing is that Social Security, you're looking 15, 20 years ahead and how it will affect present people. My own opinion is that people have to learn how to trade stocks or die. There will be no middle ground. Nobody will be protected. In 15, 20 years from now, forget it. So people are right who are trying to cash in on their pensions and to just grab as much cash as possible now. Don't wait for a future. There is no future. Never mind possible nuclear war, so many other factors. So at least by the time that war will start, you will well travel, you will visit places, so fantastic European cities, you will go maybe to Pacific Ocean, you will go elsewhere and so on. So that what will prepare you for nuclear war more than anything and better than anything else. So in order to trade stocks, learn as much as you can, open small trading account with probably $10,000 and just buy 5 shares, 10 shares here and there, and understand how it works, why you're buying. There are some accounts now that charge no commissions, by the way. I'm using such an account for myself, and therefore you can really get slowly adjusted. Not everybody will make money, mind you. You know that. Right now, especially market is waiting for a reason to come down big time. It's a little bit overpriced, and all the tariffs and all the other things will lead to very, very strong downturn in market. But while it's happening, you still have to do trades here and there. So I'm very quick to exit my trades simply because of the upcoming downturn. So I'm entering the trade. I'm waiting the stock will go a little bit higher. Especially, for example, JP Morgan reports tomorrow morning. So it's quite obvious that most likely remaining of the day, JP Morgan stock will go higher. Mind you, if it's a good report tomorrow on the opening, it can jump way much higher. And if you cash out today, you will miss on that move. On the other hand, it may not have such a brilliant report and stock will go down. So by jumping out of the stock, taking a little profit, you obviously insulate yourself. But there is another problem, the tariffs. Now, think about tariffs. What Trump did, on April 2nd, he went up with a very elaborate document saying how much each country will pay a month from now. There was a stock market collapse, and a few days later, it was a Liberation Day, April 2nd, few days later, he says, no, we will wait until 90 days. So we will negotiate with 90 countries. So basically, each country will have its day, so 90 days, and all that issue will be over in 90 days or so. Wonderful. So market started to recover. Then what's happened? What's happened in the 90 days? He signed one deal with UK, and that's it. Period. Full stop. So now he doesn't see a big lineup of all the ambassadors and presidents and kings lining up to Mar-a-Lago to kiss his behind. So there is no negotiations period. Nobody wants even to talk to him. So what he's doing now, he sends letters where he says, okay, you will have 25% tariffs on your goods. You will have 35%, and you will have 50%. So even that doesn't work, because now the TICA strategy, Trump always chickens out, has to be implemented before August 1st. And guess what? I figured out that today is something like August 14th. So what, 2 weeks or so left until he will chicken out again? Or how does it work? Anybody can tell me?
No, I don't think anybody can tell you because no one knows what he's going to do up there. But problem with tariffs, it does create a lot of volatility, obviously, in the market, but also volatility is also opportunity. If you listen to what goes on in Washington, D.C., that's one reason a lot of the people in Congress, I guess they're not dealing with issues like Social Security and Medicare because they're too busy trading on accounts by listening to what's going on in Washington, D.C. In other words, listening to the president. Because remember, he gave a tell, which all the poker players know what a tell is. He goes, watch the stock market, watch what's going to happen. Then he dropped his tariffs and extended it 90 days. And the market took off, right, Sasha? And
Yeah.
the people that followed him closely, unfortunately, I wasn't one because I was busy, but they bought stocks the minute his tell came out and made a fortune. And this is what's going on in Washington, D.C., because there is no insider trading laws stopping congressmen from trading on information they're getting inside Washington, D.C. It's a big problem. There's nothing stopping it, and it's going on right now. But interesting what you said is that the people that live in the gig economy, and everybody lives in the gig economy today, should look at the stock market as a ways to make extra money. Because if you had 10,000, you can make an extra $1,000 a year, 10% trading. Or if you're good, maybe 20% and make 2,000 a year. If you have 20,000, you can make 4,000 a year, so on and so forth. So you could count your gig economy as being able to do investments on the side. Unfortunately, between me and the stars, Sasha, they do not train Americans at all how to trade. In other words, your basic TD Ameritrade account, no one teaches anything about that. And when I took finance in college, it was all theoretical. It wasn't practical at all, Sasha. I mean, it was just, they wanted you to do calculations on compounding interest, for example. See, I'm serious. In other words, that was one of your big things. Or asset allocation models, but not real hard core deep dive into securities. Now, it may have changed because I haven't been to college in like 50 years. It may have changed in the last 50 years and they actually give you some practical education, but I really doubt it. And so what happens is you have a whole group of uneducated financial people in the United States. I mean, our financial literacy is very low. And thank you for having your program, Modern Investing, because that gives people at least a door to looking at how to do investments and covered call writing. Although you know, like I know, that doesn't necessarily mean be able to execute one transaction. It's we're making profits at.
What I'm explaining on modern investing is that the old school of investing, whatever you could learn anywhere in school or in university, follow Warren Buffett, do fundamental analysis of securities, follow all these fabulous investors. And you know what? It doesn't work anymore because with all your brilliant fundamental analysis, because of Trump's trade wars with tariffs, the stock may plunge 20-25% on any single day. And your fundamental analysis is perfect. It's shining. This is I don't know, it's how you will call it. It's a mother of all stocks. It's the best stock there is, but it's plunged 20-25%, and it will take 2.5 years to recover. So it will tie up all your capital, and you will be waiting because you don't want to take loss. No. You will wait until that stock will recover. And once you bought it, say, at $80, it will hit $80.05. then you will sell. In the meantime, stock will continue to go higher, but you're out of it anyway. So you lost 2.5 years of your life. You lost any profits. And if it's a margin account, you have to pay percentage interest on your purchase and so on. So the modern way of trading is you have to learn one basic thing. You have to learn to take losses. The best way, practice it. Okay, let's see you bought stock at $40. It goes back and forth. So let's see it hit $39.90 and you sell. Take your 10 cents loss, then do it 10 times in a row. So now you condition yourself accepting losses, taking losses. It's a part of trading. Once you learn that and you learn how to take losses, now you can start trading. So you're no longer afraid of losses. You understand that it's a part of trading, and the only thing is your losses. You're taking 10, 15 cents on your stock. And if you are right and stock goes your way, you will make $5, $10 on a trade. You will lose 10 cents and you will make $5, $10, maybe more. This is the secret of trading. Don't trust anybody. Don't listen to anybody. You have to be sure of yourself. You have to be very confident. And just if anybody will tell you, oh, I've heard this and that, tell them to go to hell right away.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that when I started doing investing, and I like to use the word investing rather than trading, but basically moving accounts. I used to sell, when I looked at a stock was high, I used to sell at market because I'm going, okay, it met my parameters. Now what I do is I do limit sales, usually $1 more per share, and you know what? Eventually I cash out and get the extra $1 a share, Sasha. In other words, I'm looking at a stock, I want to unload it, okay? And years ago, I was really to load it at market. Today, I'm a little greedier. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I usually look at, I want to unload it, but I'll just put a limit sale, $1 more per share. You know what, Sasha? They cash me out for that extra $1 all the time. I've yet to miss one. I'm serious. It's just going like, it's found money. It's just to do a limit sale rather than do a market sale. Now, could it go against me? Sure. But usually these are positions I already have made a bunch of profits in anyway. And so when it gets me, I just don't make as much profit. But I think the real problem we have is Americans don't even, and I'm doing basic stuff, don't even have basic knowledge when it comes to investing. And it's just a real crime because they don't teach it in MBA schools, law schools, or master programs. I can tell you that because I went through all that stuff. Let's get rid of it. I got all that formal education, and the problem is they don't teach anything. And that's really it's nice letters you have behind your name, but unfortunately, practically, you don't learn very much. And I told people, which is true, after going and collecting 10 years worth of college degrees, there's only one course I take to actually use to make a living. The rest of them are all nice to know, but don't really mean anything. But thank you for the modern investing course. And Naked at Night, how's that going, Rick? I saw an email.
You did the show last night? Okay, we did it last night. And every time we do one of these shows, I end up confessing things I shouldn't confess. And last night was a good example of that. I said some stuff from my personal life I probably should have kept quiet about.
Okay.
Like I used to have a girlfriend back in college. Everybody has dumb relationships in college. I had a relationship with a girlfriend. We were both bouncers in a bar, and she used to lay her hands upon me in an unfriendly way.
Okay, yeah, there's certain things you may not want to discuss. Also, the thing is, we're developing a world talent show, and Mark came up with a suggestion because we want to do auditions before we actually put on the regular show. That we hold auditions between now and the end of the year, and then put on a regular show. I would imagine, wouldn't you have in LA a lot of talented people that can sing it or dance? It's not a crowd I hang out with.
Yes, yeah, but you gotta figure out how to get in touch with them and you've got to figure out how to let them present themselves. Now, people in LA are conditioned to put themselves on tape now. It used to
Right.
be you went to a little office and you did your lines or your singing or whatever in front of people. But now it's become a lazier thing for the producers. They just say, well, put yourself on tape and email it to us. So that makes it easier for you with the talent show.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, that would be true. But the thing is, Mark had some ideas about having them come on live on StreamYard, that we do them live on StreamYard before we give them the indoors, do an audition before we do a full.
Yeah, it's the show before the show. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because what I don't want to do is put them on a full show and them being absolutely horrible or not very good. They won't be horrible, I'm sure. They'll just not be very good, or even worse, they don't have good audio and visuals. Something
So LA people they'll audition for you, but people in LA are conditioned. They're out here for a reason. They want to take advantage of every opportunity. So you'll get auditioners, but you really do want to provide some incentives.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, we're going to provide cash prizes.
Yeah, but what LA people, what anybody in entertainment really wants is hundreds of thousands of eyeballs on them.
Okay.
So,
well, we can't promise 100,000 eyeballs, but how about $100,000? Are they interested in that?
yeah, if you can do that, and with that kind of prize money, you'll get some eyeballs. If you
Right. Yeah, that's what I figured. If you give them prize money,
Yeah,
because
that would definitely get you some eyeballs and everything like that. Hey, Nick, the other question, because as I told you before, when we did the Road to the Apollo here at the Haytime, did it a couple of other places as well, actually several places around the state of North Carolina and everything. There were people, and Rick can identify with this because he worked in Hollywood, that were intentionally picked that you knew were not going to make it. So are you going to have some of those as well? Because there are, as Rick can attest to, people that get picked that are not the greatest. So are we going to just pick talent that we think is great, or are we going to pick some intentional duds?
I think we're going to pick talent that we think is great, because when we push it on our TikTok platform, we're getting tens of thousands of people, basically 20,000 viewers. We're not getting 100,000. We're getting a good 20,000 viewers on TikTok. And I want it to present the best that we can for the Pod TV network, because, if you start doing low quality stuff or trying to play games, that's not going to be very good. But realize also, Mark, they're going to be competing on a worldwide basis. So
American Idol used to pick duds in their early seasons, but now that they're in their 25th season, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, but I don't see any reason to pick duds. In other words, you want the best you can get on the live show, because after a while, people will tune in if they can listen to people that are really
like I said, and it depends on the nature of the show. American Idol has got a reputation and has definitely now got mostly good talent, to your point, Rick, and everything. But if you follow the Apollo is basically based on cheering and booing. And so you want to have some people that are going to be booed. So that's part of the reason that they were intentional duds picked there, because you want the Sandman to have some work.
I have another suggestion, which is you want traditional talent like singing, but I think somebody needs to take a look at what gets a lot of eyes on TikTok and see if there are new categories to search for talent in.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well,
are we going to have? But Nick, are we going to have the? Are we going to have the pet category? Because if you look on TikTok, you'll see a lot of people that have their cats and their dogs doing all kinds of tricks and things along those lines. And as I said, we've actually already currently have basically through Pod TV 2 talent shows. Because as I told you before, Sharif has already gone through with his, which is more of a what do you call it? Like a platform where you're pitching ideas, like a pitch contest. So his talent show that he's already launched and he's already done 2 episodes, I think, is more of a pitch contest. So we really have 2 talent shows on Pod TV right now.
You also need to have a professionally drafted release, where you should probably consult with somebody who's worked on game shows to make sure that you are bulletproof against lawsuits and also that you're not creating, some kind of tort. Like, you don't want to, have a category best singing while driving, because obviously that's, somebody gets in a wreck.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. I mean, that's part of the reason of the auditions.
And from a legal standpoint,
Yeah.
but Nick, from a legal standpoint, that is where I was going with. Because, like I said, if it's in a venue and there's not as much of an issue as a TV show and things of that nature, and Sasha probably can relate to this as well because he did work on a cruise ship and everything, is we've got to have that general license in order for them to sing the song. So otherwise, they're going to have to sing old songs. Otherwise, that's where you're going to run into an issue if they're singing like a Beyonce song. Beyonce songs, you're going to run into a problem because of licensing.
You're right, Mark. That's very important. Again, that's part of the reason we do the audition first, is because we've run into, over the past several years, copyright issues where somebody will sing a song that's copyrighted by another person, and they'll shut all our networks down the minute something's copyrighted.
If you're violating copyright, what's the difference whether you do it during auditions or during the so-called live show? What's the difference?
Well, the auditions, we can shut them down right away, Sasha.
And
On a live show, I don't want to shut down the live show.
don't want it, but if it's a violation of copyright, you will have to do it.
No, I will. I mean, the thing is, on the auditions, we're just going to run through this. But if somebody...
Auditions are public. People are watching auditions, same as live show. I really don't understand in that case.
Okay. The live show is going to be broadcast to a larger audience.
How?
The auditions are going to be very limited as to the audience it goes to. And the auditions will screen out what you just described. Somebody goes in and they're going to sing, Thank God I'm a Country Boy, with a copyrighted song. Well, what we do is you press the delete button. What you do is you do this to that person, and they're gone. Okay? And the reason they're gone isn't because we're mad at them. It's because we know through our experience that if these people do that stuff, they're going to take our network down in certain places. So we have no choice. We're going to have to get rid of them.
It seems like you'll need a music clearance expert / supervisor who's going to be there watching, who will better be able to tell when somebody's using a song that's going to get you in trouble.
Right. Yeah, that's true. So we'll be able to stop that, because one problem we've had, we would generate huge amounts of followings on YouTube or Facebook and then just get slaughtered. They just take us all off because they take our whole network off the air, especially YouTube was bad on that and Facebook are bad on that. They will take us off the air if we air.
Happy Birthday used to be a huge problem because it seems like a song that's in the public domain, but it is not. And it was, if it showed up in your production, it was going to cost you a ton of money.
Yeah. And so the auditions will basically get rid of that stuff. In other words, we have to get rid of it real quick and instantaneous, because we can't.
Depends on the version too, Rick. I think that the Happy Birthday Stevie Wonder style is not in public domain because that's a more modern version. But the old Happy Birthday is in public domain.
That was specifically used to dance around the two litigious sisters who would come after you.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to be very cautious on the copyright. The other thing is that we got to be cautious on, because working with a lot of people in this space, is the visuals and the audio. Sometimes they'll come in with good audio, especially ones that have good microphones, and sometimes they're bad audios. The bad audios, I don't like to say no, but I'll say unless you improve your audio, you can forget it. You're not going to go to the big stage.
Now, Nick, have we reached out to the old folks that had good audio and good content that were definitely talented? Like I said, Alexandria May was out of South Africa. She was South African Idol. We also had the Talking Upstream guys and everything like that. And I know that they're still on LinkedIn. I think they might even be on Facebook and everything like that. So those are other folks that could be either judges or contests.
Mark, can you reach out to them then? Because you're right. We had Grant Edmond, who's in the space. Alexander Mays in that space. Let's reach out to those people. Yeah.
You also have to guard against people using AI or filters to goose their performances. I don't know what tools are available, but I'm sure there are plenty of tools.
Yeah, but would that be a bad thing if it makes their performance better?
If it's completely artificial, yeah. If they've somehow managed to plug themselves into an AI engine, so it's a prettier version of them singing a better song than they could sing, yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah, because it's all fake.
I look at the quality of video being pumped out by even a mid-level AI like who is this doing this? Is that freaking OpenAI or so? Anyway, like there are a ton of tools. What is Midjourney? Is a middle of the road video producer, and the stuff looks really great.
Right. No, I've seen a lot of stuff that's on the internet now that looks to be AI driven. It does not look like this is. It looks all fake.
No, this looks real as hell. If you didn't know,
right,
somebody could get, if it's just a person singing without moving a lot, they could definitely use AI to make a completely convincing clip.
Right. Yeah. So, well, the thing is, that's part of the reason for the auditions that we'll do between now and the end of the year is to clean out the trash before you put them on the big stage, because otherwise, it's just going to be, it'll be a nightmare. Hey, Mark, speaking of nightmare, are you going to be able to handle the show that comes right after this, the timeshare show?
I should be home by that time. But just pop in case I'm not, because I might be just getting home right at that time.
I'll cover just in case. The timeshare show gets a lot of hits on the Pod TV network. There are a couple shows I've watched that just they just get a huge audience, and I've even some of the timeshare shows. I think part of the interesting aspects is the people that buy timeshares, they get screwed by the people that sell them. It's just, and it goes on every day. And then, so every week you have a new batch. So when Irene was first starting, she'd get like one phone call a week. Now she gets 6 phone calls a day to be on the show. So it took a year, but 6 phone calls a day. So there'll be a whole stack of new people on our show today because they found out about the show and they're getting screwed on their timeshare and they want to be on the show. And that's going to follow the media show. It's been following.
So you don't even have to buy a timeshare to get screwed on it. You can inherit one, and that in itself can be an opportunity to get scammed, trying to get rid of it because you're getting
rid of it. Yeah, they keep charging you management fees and fees for this and fees for that. And so the thing is, the contracts apparently are drafted in such a way that it's like a homeowners association you can't get rid of, and you continually owe the fees on it. It's something that the modern investing people probably don't invest in at all because I think if someone will look at it and goes, "This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen."
Nick, I'll tell you that even penny stock gamble is much better way compared to what is it, timeshare?
Yes, I would agree.
There is no times, there is no shares. It's the most stupid thing people can do in their life is to buy a timeshare. And this is good for you as a producer of the show, is that you are getting tons of losers who for free, without calling their lawyer and pay some $2,500 deposit, they can for free discuss in this show their grievances. This is fantastic idea. I'm 100% on, and you can run this show for the next 75 years, absolutely with no problems.
So in the 70s and 80s, a timeshare was not that expensive, and a lot of people's parents bought them. And they weren't, they weren't a great investment, but they weren't terrible like they are now. But now you inherit, if you're our age, you might inherit these things, and the terms change annually. And now, you might get hit with $700 a year service charge to own 2 days in some resort.
But they changed it. It used to be you would buy, let's say, a couple days. You'd buy a week. Let's say you bought a week in Las Vegas, and you'd get a deed giving you that week in that particular property. But that's not what they're doing right now. They give you points. Okay, so you get 20,000 points, which you can exchange for the week in Las Vegas. Except next year you need 30,000 points. See the problem, Sasha? Oh, you don't have enough points for your week in Las. I'm not kidding. They do this. You don't have enough points for the week in Las Vegas because it's now 30,000. So hence you need to pay the timeshare company more money if you want that week. So you write them a check for more. Now you can do that week, except you also owe the maintenance fees, which just increased as well. And so what happens is after a while, they're trapped into buying more and more points for their timeshares because it's not a deeded week, and more money for the maintenance cost because there's no cap on it. And it's not regulated by the Securities Exchange Commission. So it's almost like you're selling a stock.
It's also happening with hotels, particularly Vegas hotels, where Vegas used to be a deal. They'd want to get you to Vegas, and they'd give you cheap food, cheap lodging, so you'd gamble. No more. Vegas is struggling, and they now hang on hundreds of dollars of bullshit fees, resort fee, and valet, not even valet parking, just regular parking might run you $80 a night. Yep. So it's grifting and nickel and diming, except it's not nickels and dimes, it's 20s and 50s is rampant.
And those 20s and 50s add up when you have 1,000 people that show up to the hotel, or like MGM holds 5,000 people. So even if they charge an extra dollar, they make $5,000 just by adding an extra dollar. They make, $10, they make 50,000 for the night, because they have so many people coming in.
It's like the U.S.'s current, our belligerent attitude to the rest of the world is knocking down foreign travel by like 12%. And that, includes Vegas, and Vegas is trying to make up for it with bullshit fees.
Yeah, well, that's because people are afraid to go to the United States because of the immigration policies. In other words, they're afraid to go there because they're afraid they're going to be deported. And realize if you travel, you have choices of where to go. And wealthy people can choose where they want to go. They don't have to go to the United States. They can say, well, let's go to Canada this year, or let's go to South America, or let's go somewhere which is more user-friendly. And Spain is also having that problem because there's groups of people here that are anti-turistas. They don't like tourists. And that hurts the tourist community, which is, in Barcelona, 15% of their entire economy. So they need to get real on being anti-tourist because they're throwing away a lot of money if they continue that. Yeah, Sasha.
Speaking about Barcelona, I visited Barcelona about 3 weeks ago. We were staying at Ramblas Hotel. It's a horrible place these days. There are tons of tourists, and it was just the beginning. So it wasn't even high season yet. They're opening a lot of new restaurants by different names, like Mustafa Restaurant or Alibaba Restaurant or something like this. Nick, go on Rambla and visit Mustafa Restaurant. Hopefully you will enjoy your meal there. I didn't try that, but notice there are too many of those. So to me, Barcelona is no longer a point to visit, because in my previous younger days, I visited all the Sagrada Family and all the Gauda and all those rather fantastic places, beautiful, gorgeous architecture, or so on. But no more. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but see, I'm not buying in Barcelona. I'm buying in Badalona, Barcelona.
Okay, that's good.
Badalona, Barcelona on the beach, which is a whole different category. One thing they did tell me once you came here, because I read all their blogs, is spend about a year looking at all the communities because they're different. And they're right. I live in Los Cortes right now near the soccer stadium, which they're rebuilding. It's nice here, but there's nothing exciting about it. There's no beach community or anything that's to write home about. And like my wife said, if you're going to move to Barcelona, you need to live on the beach. If you're not, you might as well live in bloody Madrid, you know? And so I'm getting a beach place in that.
Okay, very important announcement. There is an ultimatum to Russia from Trump. Now Russia is giving 50 days to arrange for ceasefire and actually do it. And if not, then there will be a huge tariffs on countries which are trading with Russia, and much more powerful weapons to be sent to Ukraine.
Oh, really?
Interesting how it all will play out.
Yeah. We'll definitely see if that plays out positively or not. Now I am going to Prague. I don't know if have you been to Prague yet, Sasha?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the story on Prague? I just threw it up there because in about 2 weeks I'll be in Prague. Is there anything?
Prague is the most beautiful city in Europe.
That's what I heard.
It beats Paris, London, and all other cities.
Wow.
It's fantastic, and very good hotels.
Yes.
But try to not save on the hotels. Better the
Oh no, I always stay at 4 or 5 star hotels. So I never stay at the 2 or 3s.
take a King's Court comes to mind. No, there are so many great hotels.
Yeah, I'm in an extremely nice hotel in the city center area.
So you guys have been talking about stocks, but the same thing applies to cities where you can buy cities low when they're crappy.
Sure.
When I was a kid, I went to Prague for on one of these package tours when it was part of the Eastern Bloc, and it was miserable. Every room had a radio in it with one station. It was the communist government station. It was,
Right.
And if you could have bought then, which you probably couldn't because it was communist, but New York City in the 80s, you could buy an entire old warehouse building for $70,000, and if you held on to it, you could sell that building for $40 million. And I'm telling people to buy Venice, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, currently selling low. You can buy an apartment in Venice for the same price as an apartment in Van Nuys, next to Costco, because it's subject to flooding and it's overrun with tourists. But eventually they will fix their problems and it'll be a great city again.
I will definitely look into Venice. My next acquisition was actually going to be in Scotland, but so I have a place to go when it gets hot here, and it does get hot in Barcelona. And the real problem is the dollar versus the sterling. The dollar is getting killed again, and so I might buy here in Washington D.C. first, which is also a place where I plan on doing an acquisition. So I have a place in D.C. when I come to the States, but D.C. is actually, I believe, will continue on its downward spiral, and because they fired all these government employees. But it's a buying opportunity.
Well, Florida, we've talked about Florida being kind of a shithole now. Great buying opportunities. You buy a place close to the beach. You spend the money you saved on the greatest hit in the whole country in real estate prices is Cape Coral, Florida. So
I know it is.
So you buy a place there, and you take the hundreds of thousands you saved on the purchase price and use it to make your house hurricane proof.
Right. Yeah. Cape Coral has lower cost prices than Sanibel or Fort Myers or Fort Myers Beach, but it's all built on canals. It's kind of an interesting city how they developed it. And Florida runs very volatile when it comes to housing prices. My executive secretary bought in Lehigh Acres on the extreme low because Florida goes into recessions. People don't know that. And then all of a sudden the real estate prices you pick up properties for a song and then it'll skyrocket on the other side. It's a very volatile place to go.
So I checked it out, and there are properties you can buy in Cape Coral for $100 to $200 per square foot, compared to LA where it's $1,000 a square foot.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm very interested in Venice as a place because I've gone there.
Everybody who lives in Venice is our age or older. It's a city of grandmas and grandpas. And when you look at the apartments, they're all grandma grandpa apartments, buildings that are 400 years old, but decorated with lace and antique furniture. And those, when eventually a new wave of people will come in.
Right, but the residential section is basically at the end of Venice. In other words, where it's all residential. You have to go all the way to the end of the island, and then all of a sudden, it's all, believe it or not, it's all residential. But I haven't looked at the prices.
Well, it depends. If you want a villa, yeah, but if you're okay with just a pied a terre that's 700 square feet, and in places the ceiling is only 6'8" because it was built in the 1700s, there's plenty of places like that.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I just haven't. It just isn't in my radar screen because also when I go there, it is very crowded. And last time I went, I said there's only one entry through Venice Mestre, and I thought, you should put an entry fee there. So they did. They actually closed the city down, and now you have to pay a whopping €5 to get in. And I'm going, that is way too low. That did not stop them. They need to do like Disney World, €50, €100, €150. Seriously. So
and
that when
the streets down the center of every street is what looks like a bunch of folding tables.
Right.
And when it floods, the city workers come out and they set up the table things, and now you can walk down the middle of the street across these tables that are 3 feet above the sidewalk, so you're out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they'll figure out a high tech, either seawalls, or in this novel I'm writing about the future, they make swarms of robots that dig under Venice and slowly, millimeter by millimeter, raise it up.
Yeah. I think overall they'll eventually solve the water problem there, so I'm not as concerned about that. I'm concerned about the tourist problem, which they can solve because of the way the island is structured. The entry places are like one place. So that all you have to do is charge fees. And that's what gets me about Barcelona and the city fathers here. I spent the morning at the tax office, just trying to get a tax certificate. I mean, they're just like, ugh. But the thing is, rather than shoo away the turistas, just hit them with fees. I don't get why people have a hard time collecting money. Don't say, I hate the tourists. Say, you're welcome here. Oh, and by the way, the hotel tax is doubled. The landing rights are doubled. In other words, just keep hammering with fees. That will solve the tourist problem. Or you're going to make a lot of money, one or the other. But don't hit them with a squirt gun. That's stupid, Spain. Hit them with fees. It's just like the immigrant problem. Don't hit the immigrants with, hey, we're going to deport you. Hit them with fees. You made a legal problem. Okay, pay a fine and go home. And this way, the government collects revenues. Deporting people and putting them in prisons do not collect revenue. It creates expenses.
Right. So freaking Jeff Bezos marries Lauren Sanchez in Venice.
That's all about Venice, yes.
And it brings $1.2 billion in revenue to the city because everybody, and so, you could make if you attracted mostly millionaires, Venice, with super high fees, that addresses the tourist problem.
You're right. And if you look at Monaco, they did kind of the same thing. And right now it's very expensive to buy a place in Monaco.
Since this is the media show, should we talk about like Superman is a hit? It made $122 million, the most successful.
But I do have a quick question for Nick. I just got back home and everything, and it's something about our talent show and everything along those lines. Then we can get to Superman. But are we actually how are we going to do the scoring on the talent show? Because I saw somebody that did a battle, like a battle, and all it was they got points. Because if you go to TikTok, you'll see that you can give gifts or you can give roses. So the people were giving gifts and roses. Some of the roses might be a point, some of the points might be 10 points, some of them might be $3.99, but they cost money in order to be able to give the gifts and everything like that. So people had to buy the package in order to give the gifts, and then the woman did one who was from Charleston. She won because she got the most points and everything like that. So are we going to, that's why I was going with the judges. Are we going to have the judges decide, or are we doing this whole point system, or how is it going to work? Because on TikTok, that's how a lot of times the things are done. It's just by a point system.
Yeah, I think we're going to use the TikTok point system rather than have judges. The judges will really be panelists to give their opinions on who they think should win, but then it'll be up to the audience to make that determination.
I think you should maybe hire a game show consultant to.
Well, we're actually going to have a monitor. On TikTok, they have monitors.
Okay,
So-
but somebody who's produced like a dozen game shows to walk you through help you avoid the potholes and the things you hadn't thought of. And there are plenty of them in LA, and they're hurting for work.
Oh, really? Send them over. Because the one problem that we have had, because we wanted to hire somebody to be a monitor for Ask the Experts, which is a show that we're going to launch as soon as Kim gets out of a recovery, is that it's hard to hire people. I mean, it's the same problem I'm having in National Pension Partners. We finally hired 3 people or 4 people back in Salt Lake, but it was a grind to get somebody there. Finding some talent to hire. So if you got some names and stuff.
I've got a guy. I know one guy off the top of my head, and he comes from the writing, producing side of things. So, and which would be helpful, but you also want a guy who comes from the legal, logistical side of things.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think it was. I don't know if you ever met Holmes Stoner. Have you? He was the chairman of the American International Chamber of Commerce. He was on our shows a lot until he got a stroke. Yeah, you don't see him very much, but he's still on Facebook. Anyway, he told me that all the talent was, all the media talent was in Los Angeles, because that's where everybody lives and that's where all the media talent is. That was good. Really? So the rest of the world has no talent? No, they don't. They're all in LA.
So yeah, I'll be able to throw a couple names at you.
Yeah, because like I said, I don't know that industry at all. I come from the pension industry, and the pension industry and insurance industry is extremely boring. It has a lot of capital, though. The last company, I guess I'm seeing again tonight, that we work with has 50 billion. 50 billion is a small company that we work with, and a couple of them are 30 billions, but we work with some companies that have 500 billion. And so I checked that relative to some of the media companies. The media companies are small, 17 billion. 1 billion, 7. I mean, compared to the industry I work at, financially, they just don't have it. Yeah, Sasha.
I have a solution. Talking about what flowers for winners and who is going to pay for it.
No, it's not flowers. The winners are going to get cash up to 100,000.
No. Cash is at the end of the game. Whoever
the end of the game, right?
Yeah, whoever still will be alive, but in the meantime, probably for a year they have to do the performances here and there, and so some people will be selected to go further, some people will be eliminated. Very simple solution. Losers will buy flowers for the winners, and that's also you will go a year, and then in a year time, who knows, maybe a nuclear war will be or so. So don't hurry up with the cash prizes. Just keep it.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like chess. You put your entry fee down, it all goes to the winners.
Absolutely.
So I do appreciate that, and that's part of the reason I like playing, because I want to be on the winning side of the monetary bracket. And as a high school student, it was one of the few ways I could make money was to go play in chess tournaments and win prizes. I thought that was pretty good. And so the thing is, on the talent show, it just gives the talented people a way to make some money, because I don't watch that much television. So maybe Rick knows. Do they give cash prizes on American Idol and America's Got Talent?
No. American, but not on American Idol. Maybe on America's Got Talent.
Really? Okay.
I'll watch America's Got Talent. I think there's cash involved, but I don't know.
I'll have to go check that out, or somebody can check that out for me, because I was wondering if they give cash prizes on those, because to me it makes a difference. It's like when you go play chess. There's two ways you can play. A, you can play blitz for free, and then
I get pretty annoyed with how chintzy the cash prizes can be.
Oh, I totally
No, there are
understand.
cash prizes on America's Got Talent. I think there are cash prizes on American Idol, and of course, the other thing that are oftentimes given, and then that's a matter of negotiating with people. And maybe Rick might have some friends in LA. I know I've got some friends in North Carolina, and everything like that. Is, as Sasha will probably agree, most people that have talent, they want. Yes, they want money, but they also want something that is a finished product and everything like that. So if you can give them recording time, if you can give them movie time, if you can give them even equipment, that is what a lot of times they want. They want something that can help them with their trade and everything along that line. Would you agree with that, Sasha, that people want to, if they are recording musicians, that they want to have a record or something that is a finished product, or at least studio time?
Agree.
Yeah, but I don't know how we're going to be able to accomplish that, because
It's a matter of talking to the studios and seeing what kind of availability they have and everything like that. And I know there's studios even there in Spain, and of course there's studios in New York and California. So it's a matter of talking to them, because that's what people want. And a lot of those shows, including America's Got Talent and American Idol, that's part of the reason that some of those judges are able to offer them that studio time, is because sometimes they own the studio.
Solution. Okay, here's the deal. So there will be 3 rounds of auditions. Okay. Now for each round, the contestant has to pay $100. So if they will book these 3 auditions before a certain date, they will have to pay only $200. So they already get $100 winnings if they will do certain things at certain time. That's how you do it.
you're very, very smart, Sasha. It's like a chess tournament. Make them pay an entry fee. I like that idea, and that's part of the reason I like to float these ideas around, because then the thing is,
Nick, look, you're providing a great opportunities for unknown people to be in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
oh yeah, right, that's correct.
It doesn't come free. It's
Yeah,
not.
no, I understand that. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so the thing is, you charge them an entry. I like that idea, because it also gets rid of the non-serious people, and also the money can be contributed to the prize funds for the winners, just like they do with chess tournaments.
So essentially, if they are so good, they will get this money back as the winners anyway.
I will accept that as a strong, friendly amendment to our proposition.
Entry fees are wonderful.
That's
Entry fees are wonderful, because they've been some of the contests I've been part of, they definitely had an entry fee. So yeah, we'd go with the entry fee.
Yeah, I like the entry fee. And Mark, I hope you have control of the next show, because timeshares are coming up next. Are you doing timeshares? Are you there?
I'm on it right now.
Okay, then we'll see you next week on the media show with a great idea from Sasha.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Let's go find the exit. There's an exit here somewhere. It's right.